We can do it together, and we have to think about some simple things. Much of the time I spend communicating in a public space, I spend talking about the failures of the school system. The fact is that in many of the Memphis schools, the traditional schools, you can find as many as 80 and 90% of the children reading, writing, and doing math below grade level. Folks, you couldn't hit a spot on this stage 9 out of 10 times unless you tried. And you couldn't miss it 9 out of 10 times unless you were just that bad at it. And so we do have to have both the macro or the political conversation and the personal conversation. They need to be parallel. When we talk about the fact that we can do it together, what we're talking about is a need to not just focus on the big picture or the small picture, what other people are doing and what we are doing, but the entire conversation. And so as it relates to what we can do, and these are things we can do, let's start with the personal. Each one of us who has children can take an audit of our time. Think about how you spend your time, the most precious of all your resources. What did you do today? What do you typically do when you get home? And do an audit of your children's time. And then I want you to do an audit of your resources. What do you spend most of your money on? Entertainment, travel, education. Because what we spend our time and money on is really who we are.
Yes.
If you are a student, you spend most of your time and money on school. And so it's imperative that each one of us take into consideration what we do. And then I want you to take an audit of your time as a member of the community. Now, fortunately, we're in a group that probably spends a good amount of its time doing something to move the community forward. But the tragedy of cities such as Memphis is that we work in silos. This church can't work with that church. Within this church, these people can work with those people. Within this committee, and on and on. And I say this to you black people. As I looked at an Alpha Kappa Alpha license plate, I thought, y'all got some juice. If you can get your own legal license plate, then you clearly have enough members to be able to move the state to print license plates with your sorority on it. And so if y'all got that kind of juice to be able to take your sorority and put it on the back of your car in a very legal sense, why couldn't you fight for universal school choice? Don't play yourselves because you live in some fancy neighborhood into convincing yourself to think that your child is receiving the same exact education as other children, because the data is really clear, they are not.
Right.
Do not play yourself into thinking that because you could pay to send your child to another school that they're receiving the same education. They are not. Race still matters here in these United States. And so until such time as you wake up and remember that you're still black, and this is still the United States of America, and racism is as real today as it ever was, until you recognize that we do have to work together, not just with black people, because I played myself on that one, I ain't gonna lie. I painted myself into an intellectual ghetto and allowed myself to think that I just was gonna work with black people. That was dumb. I'm going to work with whoever is down with working. I don't care what color the God made them. So we need to recognize that in order for us to make the changes that are necessary, in order for us to do the things that we're going to do in my field, which is education, You got to do an audit of your time as a parent. You have to do an audit of your time and resources as a member of the community. And then you have to remember that the system has made itself very clear. People say that the school systems are broken. They're not broken. They're doing exactly what they were designed to do. They were never designed to educate poor people who are white or minorities. It was never designed for that. And if I'm the first person telling y'all that, I'm sorry to break it to you. But let this be the last time that you recognize that. And I say this. When we say that we can do it together, what we're saying is that we have so many cleavages. Black people will join organizations. I mean, y'all got money going out of the house for fraternities and sororities, churches and mosques, because y'all don't want to, you want to hedge your bets. We're Eastern Stars and Masons, Mocha Moms and Jack's Angels. You can't tell. We send a mortgage worth of dues out to organizations that are only organized for the organization itself. We belong to everything, yet as a group, we're still so separate. When we say we can do this together, we mean together. We mean drop the colors. You ain't in a gang. You ain't even in college anymore. I recognize you signed up for your Jack and your Jill because you're trying to find somebody for your child to marry, but come on, man. The fact remains that we have been where we are for too long. There have always been a couple of us who made it out. I mean, you know that. That's not new. The ratios haven't changed. But the fact remains when only 18% of African American children who took the ACT tested college ready, that's an 82% fail rate, brothers and sisters. And don't convince yourself for a second that that's just the poor kids, because that doesn't equal 18%. That means some of y'all with your little degrees and your license plates, whatever fraternity, sorority you in, and your little Mocha Moms, whatever other organization, that means our kids are among that 82% who will graduate from a suburban high school and are not college ready. It is high time that we wake up. It is high time that we recognize that things have gone miserably wrong. We can solve this when we work together.